You want to know what's going on in your dirt sports world? Whether it's 4 wheels, 2 wheels, Dirt Sports World's got you covered. From the dirt to the dunes, we bring you the latest action in racing, to lifestyle, the newest parts, the newest vehicles, and what the superstars of off-road are up to. Check out our social media for up-to-date information on Instagram, Facebook, Dirt Sports World, and more in depth. And check out the magazine at www.dirtsportsworld.com. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, Dirt Sports World, for some great videos. So make sure to follow us and come get dirty with us.
First up, it's the 3-time king starting off on top. It's win 17 for Connor Barry. First-time winner in the iRacing Short Course National Series. Take a bow, Drake Mittag. And while Luke Canuck's yet to taste success in 2025, it's going to be a taste that's oh so sweet. Keaton Swain's not going to stand down. To the line, a photo finish. Her first win in the National Series. Crystal King gets it done. It's taken a while for Josh Edmondson to crack the victory circle. Winning the war, Drake Mittag, the 2025 iRacing Short Course World Finals champion.
Connor Barry still got that red plate, but there's a full field of aggressive Pro 4 drivers that are going to try and take it away. We enter round 3 of the campaign from the virtual Wild West Motorsports Park. We welcome you to the iRacing Short Course Pro 4 National Series live on RaceSpotTV. I'm your host Joshua Lee, filling in for an Arjuna Kankipati that is currently down in Sebring. Happy to be joined by the voice of off-road, Dave Arnold. And Dave, we were talking off broadcast real quick about the season we've had so far. 2 very exciting opening rounds at Firebird and Bark River. We go to another classic iRacing short course track in Wild West tonight, with Connor Barry still holding that points lead and a lot of uncertainty coming up in the calendar as well.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, you talked about it. Firebird, tight bull ring, a lot of great battles, 5 wide through the turns. Bark River opened it up. We saw the high speeds, but here we are, Wild West. We got altitude, we've got undulations, and we got a lot of fast trucks going to be competing there. But I'm excited, man. We're going back to the streets of Long Beach. That's going to be awesome. And, of course, one of my favorite places, Wheatland, Lucas Oil Stadium, our raceway. And then, of course, you can't but love the big house, Crandon. We're going to finish it up on April 15th.
I was going to mention back half of the calendar, really exciting with an asphalt street course, the brand new Wheatland, and of course the classic Crandon. But looking forward to tonight's race here at Wild West Motorsports Park. It's Connor Barry that I mentioned has that red plate, but Thad Countryman is close behind at 191 points. Don't look far back from there to find Evan McFarland, Zachary Drapkin, Quinton Delalmo, and this entire top 10, Dave. Relatively close within that mid-pack, but right now Countryman and Barry starting to pull away and kind of match each other on results so far this year.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I got to say, a great performance by McFarland in round number 1. Kind of had some troubles around number 2. Drapkin kind of just right in there, you got to watch him. He'll sneak in there and knock some points away from you. Quinton Delalmo, I mean, what can I say? But I think the big surprise, Drake Mittag. I mean, really started out things swinging, at Firebird. Boy, I'll tell you, Bark River, not his friend for sure. So we're seeing a little bit of shakeup in the points, but I'll tell you, this is going to be awesome tonight.
Rick Matag grabbed a main 1 win from Firebird in the first round of the series, looking to try and gain another one tonight. But as far as overalls go and round wins go for round 1 and round 2, both of those went to Connor Berry. We'll see if this third one is going to go to Connor Berry as well. Cody Wienecke, who was fastest in practice, puts up the quick time in the number 9 machine. To the top of the board he goes. We're looking at Brandon Forcade working his way through turn 4. A very, very tight left-hander. That wheel spin becomes a premium going through that last corner, Dave, to run up this massive front straightaway and almost a Circuit of the Americas like jump into the air for turn 1.
Oh yeah, they're hitting over 100 miles an hour down that straightaway off that hill. Big time, and it's at 90 degrees. Always great action there. It's out who's going to outbrake who's going to get that slide job, who's going to carry it, and who's going to go into the wall is sometimes what happens.
I'm sure we're going to see a lot of contact and a lot of aggressive racing into turn number 1 for all of our races tonight. DeLalmo just went P6. Matthew Lindy goes P7 as he crosses the line for another lap. Handful of laps coming in. We're looking at David Holdren now as Jacob Rafos, who missed his alarm last week, just went into P9, falls to P10. Cody Vanderveer working his way into P4, but everybody chasing Wienecke, who laid down a 48.2, about 3/10 back from where he was at the end of practice. At the top of that board, Brody Descher lays down a time for P7.
Yeah, I tell you, when Nicky really came out swinging, Connor Berry was holding on to that top spot. Not surprised. Countryman, he's really coming to his own, I'll tell you. And unfortunately, we missed him with him and Edmondson last weekend. They were on a plane watching us as we were racing in Bark River, but they made it here to Reno, so it's great to see. They must have caught their flight a little earlier this time.
And they were coming back from a very cool project last week as well. I heard from Edmondson today when I was speaking to him earlier. He's currently P3 here in qualifying, laying down 2 good first sectors. Looks to lay down another one here, coming through the final corner. Clock quickly winding down here in qualifying. Inside 6 minutes left. Edmondson's going to abandon that lap just at the line. And we look to Cody Vanderveer in the Racecraft Sim Sports entry, sending it into turn 2. He currently sits P5.
Okay, so you're going to spill the dirt. You brought it up, a cool project, or is it something going to be we got to wait for?
I don't know if I can spill it or not, which is why I'm dancing around the question. We'll let Edmondson speak for that if we end up speaking to him today.
Did I just make you a long-tailed cat with a room full of rocking chairs at that point?
Potentially.
No, just kidding.
On board now with Vanderveer. We get a great look inside of his sim rig in the Racecraft Academy entry. Goes across the line. Where is he going to sit? If it's going to keep in P5, he improves, but it's only going to be enough to keep him in that P5 spot. 1/1000th of a second off of Zachary Drapkin in P4. As we move over to the 40 machine, here's Evan McFarlane, who we mentioned earlier, Dave, is really showing off in the first part of this campaign. Evan McFarlane ended up second in the overall standings for round number 1. And right now is sitting really good in those point standings as well, and kind of being the former rallycross driver, has been showing off in short course this season.
Well, he knows how to slide vehicles around, that's for sure. He's showing off his skills as he goes through turn number 1. But, you know, he's in the cutoff. You can see the cutoff line there, 16, the magic number to be within there. And you can see, you know, Ethan Curran right now, the man with the bullseye in his back, sitting on that bubble. And look at this. Jacob Raffis comes out swinging, moves into that final transfer position. McFarlane's still sitting sweet, though, sitting P8.
And Connor Berry, while we were sitting on board, just went to the top of the board at a 48.096. Any surprise there at a 48 flat? Zachary Drapkin, who's currently 6th, trying to match that. But Connor Berry, who was, I believe, 3rd or 4th quick in practice by the end of that time, now at a 48 flat, the only driver to go inside 48.2 here in qualifying.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't surprise me whatsoever. He knows how to put it on top of the box here in Reno, that's for sure. This track is just always so fast there. And it's going to bring some great lines. I'm going to say we're going to see 3-4 wide through a few turns on this one for sure.
Well, and the drivers are very familiar with this track as well. This was one of the day 1 tracks when off-road hit the iRacing service a couple of years ago. So everybody has had ample time to run laps here at Wild West. Everybody is very familiar with this track. So we're seeing a lot of that come into play when these drivers are so consistent on their lap times and so close on lap times as well. P21 all the way up to your leader, Connor Berry, separated by about a half second right now.
And I'm going through my mind right now. Luke Knupp, Connor Berry, and Zach Drapkin have all raced this track in real life. Drake was there with his brother when his brother was racing for Lucas Oil Off-Road. I don't think he ever drove this track in real life, but I'm sure he may have, asked Big Bro a few little tips there. Great shot there at Thad Countryman in the dark room, in his zone right there. His little bubble of driving. I gotta love it, man. It's just total focus.
Mr. 11,000 iRating moves up into P2. Nicholas Dachelet is going to move up into P5 as the last minute times start to hit, and a couple of drivers still have laps to their disposal to try and work their way further up. I see Cody Wienecki is starting a lap as well. We're still on board with Countryman as he goes down the back straightaway. Here's a very difficult portion of this track, going over the whoops, having to set yourself up for turn 4. Countryman did a great job there, smooth and straight to come across the line, hits the outside wall. Is that going to be enough to disqualify the lap? I don't believe so, but it's a 48.216. Won't be an improvement either way, and yes, that lap was disqualified for hitting that outside wall.
Yeah, that's a shame. Any contact there, anything wrong, you just kind of, even if you got the fast run, boy, it's going to make a difference there. You can see Wienecki there making another run. Wienecki had that top spot for a very short time, still sitting P3, not a bad position, but to lose that 10th, 0.171, that's hard to pick that up. It really is, but it's not impossible.
Wienecki will lay down a 48.205 on that last time by. That will be his current best, and he gains about 1/100th of a second, but not going to gain all of the time back on Connor Berry. Mentioned a handful of drivers still had laps left. Josh Edmondson laid down one of his final laps. It was disallowed for hitting the wall on the outside of turn 4 again for him. Hadley Boyce improves to P14 that time by. Only driver we have not seen take a lap right now is Tommy Battelle. He still sits in the pits, but all other 33 drivers that are trying to make our 2 mains tonight, I have laid down times. As we take a look at Austin Schieber, currently P21, looking to improve on that as he comes across the line.
A good run there. Back on board here with Austin Schreiber. He's got some work cut out for him, I'll tell you right now. It's not going to make a difference. You can see it just zapped out there. And you can see the final run here, the 58 in this final time. So Edmondson sitting second, not too shabby. Countryman drops to third, Wienecki fourth, and Dachelet top 5. But it's Connor Berry, boy, I'll tell you, man, that is a quick time there in the 48s.
No surprise, Connor Berry laying down a fast lap, and also no surprise that it is going to be the fastest lap. Connor Berry takes the quick time before we get into our LCQs. Dave, you're going to stand by with Connor Berry, who laid down the only 48 flat that we saw here in qualifying.
Connor Berry, boy, he just came out swinging, the points leader, the team, the new team doing well. I know you kind of want to get Drake back up there. You can see kind of do adjustments because you're not in your home rig. This is the Grid 1 kind of race palace there with Drake, right?
Yeah, for sure. We are not in my own sim, so I'm in my a PV simulator, and we're here with Drake as well. So we are both in our PV sims and gonna have to battle our way up front.
I gotta tell you, being in is that the same one? This is different than when you were at his house before. These are the new sims, right?
So this one's the same sim that I ran at the end of the year. So I'm on
the World Championships. Yeah. Okay, so you're a little familiar with it.
I'd say so, yeah.
So it's not, you're not feeling like you're at a disadvantage not being on your home sim then.
The speed wise, I would say no. Honestly, I feel like I'm faster on this one. The race though is definitely going to be a battle, just not being as comfortable. So we start in 4th, so it's going to be a battle for sure.
Well, this is the fast. It's a lot of tight turns there. We saw, how close the fights are and the battles are going on, especially when we're in the bull ring at Firebird. Reno, are we going to be seeing 3-4 wide? What's your strategy to stay out of the carnage?
The strategy is to be smart, but I don't know how much is going to work here. So we got a few guys who are starting in front of us that seemed to go for our doors. So it's going to be a battle, to say the least. We'll just see how it works out and just try to be smart and try to get back up into first.
Well, I'm going to say good luck to you tonight out there, and I guess we're going to have to wait for the main to see your race.
Thank you.
Connor Berry.
And he is sitting pretty and waiting for those mains as we get ready for LCQ number 1. Brody Descher will be starting on the front row with Brandon Forcade to his outside. Quinton Delolmo, Tom Grady share row 2. Austin Schieber, Rick Huseman going to share row 3. In the top 6 spots with Scott Merrick, Mladen Lakovic there on row 4. Joey Herbie, David Holdren, and Jackson Eberts. 11 drivers ready to go for LCQ number 1. And as they roll off from the back straightaway, we're going to take the top 6 into our 2 main events tonight. There were series points on the line there in qualifying. 5 points went to your quick time of Connor Berry. No points for both the overall or the series involved in these LCQs. The only job for these drivers is to qualify for the main events. Pace Truck will get up and out of the way, and the first time the green flag drops tonight for LCQ number 1, and we are underway. Brody Descher is going to get them started over the first jump and up and into turn number 1. It's a tight left-hander as everybody tries to funnel their way through. Take a look to the inside. That's Tom Grady. 3 wide for second place. It'll settle out to 2 wide between Forcade and Delolmo. Down into turn 2. Brody Descher looking in his rearview mirror, liking what he's seeing as there's more contact with Delolmo and Huseman as Grady loses 2 more spots.
Yeah, Dusher just pretty much walking away at this point there as Forcade, Delolmo all battled out there. Hughes been trying to stick his foot in the door there in the all-white machine. You can see Tom Grady trying to look up the inside, but Hughesman's going to kind of close the door. He's going to come down on him, and a nice shot block there as they come around the turnstiles, I like to say, and a big high-speed straightaway there, 100 miles an hour plus.
Right back up the hill they go to turn 1. Grady settles into P5. You can take a look back at Austin Schieber there, P6. He's trying to hold off David Holdren. That's for the transfer spot of P6. Holdren is close, but to make a move here at iRacing Short Course, you're gonna have to be aggressive with it. This is a contact motorsport as Holdren tries to look to the inside. Doesn't get there in time through turn 2. He's gonna have to try and set up a move on Schieber. The long line down the back straightaway. This could be it into turn 4, especially as Grady and Huseman go side by side, potentially holding each other up.
It's a rough one to try to make passes up that hill. You got to really establish yourself, get that inside line to take it going out of turn number 3. Around turn 4, down the hill. Huseman side by side. Boy, we got a race there with Grady. He's trying to get up to the inside and try and take that line away. Who's going to outbreak who's going to get on those binders early? And it looks like Huseman's going to get a nice run, but look at this. Grady's got a whole lot of Austin Schieber coming up the inside.
Schieber's going to get that spot and keep making contact. That is now 2 fenders on the front of Tom Grady's truck that are starting to peel away. Grady back to the inside, gives a shot to Rick Huseman in the right side door. He makes contact in that corner and gets that spot back away from Schieber. More importantly, David Holdren has fallen off now by about a second. This top 6 are kind of on an island of their own right now. Top 3 pulled away from the bottom 3 of this top 6, and Schieber wants a top 5 spot and a better starting spot in those mains as he tries to look to the inside and can't get there.
And a big run there. You can see that second group of 3 that you talked about, the little delineation line between them. And you can see Huseman goes a little wide. You can see right now Grady tries to get the inside there. Oh, no, big bump on Huseman. Grady's going to come down, get on the hammer on the loud pedal, but Huseman's going to take the line away. Let's see if he can go for the over-underpass coming around. Huseman's going to keep it tight there. Grady gets the shoehorn out, trying to push him out of the way.
Remember, this isn't for the transfer spot. This is for qualifying spots for those mains. And on the inside now is Huseman. Grady trying to power along the outside. You're on board with Austin Schieber. That's the Racecraft Academy number 51, P6. He's watching with a front row seat, trying to look to the inside in turn 4. Gets up on the inside berm. He won't get side by side with Grady, just barely cattywampus as they come out of turn 4. We're halfway done with this first LCQ now, and everybody in the top 6 looking great as David Holdren just unable to make up any ground from P7.
See that front battle, not, really nothing changing out there. Dusher, definitely hold on, 4K Delolmo. But I think the big battle, it's not like you said for a qualifying position, but it's for position on the line. And look at this. Oh, no. Grady and Schreiber get into it. Holdren moves in there. Grady goes back to P7, 8 as he slides back. Herbie, one spot off now from Holdren, and that delineation of qualifying position. Only the top 6 once again will qualify. A big run up the hill. Holdren trying to look the inside of Schreiber. A little bit of a bump there. Schreiber going to go a little wide there. And look at that, a blink of an eye, and Holdren now to P5.
Holdren got that transfer spot by a bit of a gift as Tom Grady just got turned around there in turn 2. Now has P5, but slams the ground off the jump, and right around goes Schreiber to take back P5. Holdren falls back to P6, and take a look further back. Herbie and Grady are now side by side as Tom Grady trying to pick up the pieces. He'll cross over Joey Herbie, and up into P7 goes Tom Grady, but running out of time to catch the top 6.
Talk about a textbook slide job right down the inside. No contact, nothing but net as he drops it in there. But as we look at the battle up there, you can see Schreiber and Holdren. You know who's not complaining? That's Rick Huseman, all by himself in 4th. Doesn't have to worry about somebody trying to take him around. A couple more laps still to go. Lap 7, here we go. It's going to be a run. They're running out of laps now.
Issue up front for Brody Duscher. He might be in the wall. He falls down to P4. He either got way up out of the way or got forced out of the way by Brandon Fourcade. That battle for the lead had been slowly deteriorating from Duscher's point of view. Now Brandon Fourcade has that lead. Duscher back to P4, still in front of Schreiber, still in front of Holdren, as that gap has been relatively large since the beginning of this LCQ. Here's your onboard. He slams into the outside wall and into the fence. He went up and over, luckily lands on all 4 tires, can keep going, and might still qualify for a main.
Incredible there. He keeps the gas on there. I haven't seen that since Carl Reynolds hit that in real life. That is a nasty place to hit there. You know, you can literally almost split a truck in half at that point. That is actually the pit exit, and it's just a crazy place to have it.
We talk about maximizing track limits in all forms of motorsport. That's exactly what we're talking about. You can fly just a little bit too close to the sun, even in these Pro 4 trucks. But the final lap of LCQ number 1, Brandon Fourcade away and into the lead. We're watching the battle with Brody Duscher now, trying to get back into P3, but up front, Brandon Fourcade is going to take the checkered flag, and the 43 machine is going to win LCQ number 1. DeLomo will qualify for the mains tonight. Rick Huseman will end up at the bottom of the top 3, and all the way back P6, Holdren trying to hold off Grady, and maybe if we had one more lap, Dave, we would have seen that battle for the transfer, but Holdren holds on to P6.
I got to give it up there. Grady fought his way back up there, not in a qualifying position, but boy, oh boy, he definitely gave team effort there.
So Brandon Fourcade, Quinton Delalmo, Rick Huseman, Brody Duscher, Austin Schreiber, and David Holdren all will qualify for your main events tonight. Tom Grady, surprisingly, the factory sim sport entry is heading home. Same with Joey Herbie, same with Mladen Lakovic, and I don't believe we saw Scott Merrick or Jackson Eberts in that race. They both finished 10th and 11th officially on timing. Hadley Boyce will lead us to green here in LCQ number 2. Ethan Curran to the outside. The Iridium Sim Sports number 54. Matthew Lindy to the inside of Jacob Rafoss in the Channel 199 Sim Racing entry. Missed last week, back this week, and has to qualify out of a last chance qualifier. Same with Sean Winkler in the Racecraft Academy number 72. Interesting to see him in an LCQ with Tyler Bickford for the Midwest Sim Sports number 28. Outside of row 3, Michael Board, Noah Carmichael, Zachary Goddard, and Matt Lass round out the 10 drivers trying to take the final 6 spots in our 2 main events tonight. And looking down the list, Dave, Jacob Rafoss, Sean Winkler, Matthew Lindy, there's some fast guys that might not race in our mains.
I know, it's incredible to think about it. We've talked about this over the last season. The talent has risen. These guys are putting the time in there. They're working on the setups. The teams are working together. They're all getting faster. They're all within a tenth of a second, and it's anyone's qualifier. But like you said, a couple of shockers that are, fighting their way through these LCQs.
Remember, we saw in that first LCQ with Tom Grady, you can be a little bit too aggressive. He might be very fast. He might be laying down solid lap times in practice and qualifying. When it comes to racing out of an LCQ, it might be the top 6. It might be the majority of this field, but you cannot treat it that way. You have to treat every position like it rightfully matters. And we see Grady now going home after just being a little bit too aggressive, making contact with another truck in turn 2.
Yeah, and also, the better finish you have, the better position you're going to have for the main event. And I'll tell you, with this many trucks out there with the main event, you get caught in the tail, or you're going to get it whipped around like an alligator.
I'll tell you what, ultimately for Tom Grady, who was sitting 21st in the points, he's not going to earn any from tonight's race now. Yeah. Field coming through turn 4 with Hadley Boyce in control of the field, our second and final of our preliminary LCQs. The pace truck pulls off and away, and our pro trucks get going. And it's a big start for Hadley Boyce, who gets on the loud pedal early. Will lead him upstairs into turn 1. To the inside goes Ethan Curran. To the inside goes Matthew Lindy. Almost 3 wide as they exit turn 1. Lindy doesn't get much farther than third. Jacob Rafoss side by side with Sean Winkler as they enter turn 2. They're still side by side, and now side by side for the lead as the 333 almost climbs up and onto the back bumper of Ethan Curran. They enter turn 3 with Winkler now P4, Rafoss now P5.
Yeah, it looks like they got a little bit close in there, and a little contact didn't affect them too much there. You can see, though, Boyce starting to run away there, Curran. But I'll tell you, Sean Winkler has got a lot of pressure there. The 199 driver, Jacob Rafoss, and then Tyler Bickford. Lindy getting shoveled back a little bit deeper, still within the cut line there. Looks like Carmichael, Boyd, and Goddard and Lass are still got to fight their way up there, as we just saw on board the virtual reality there of Sean Winkler.
Ooh, Matthew Lindy.
Oh.
He was just on top of the 13, and Lindy is now fighting for a transfer spot. That was an aggressive move into turn 1. I was talking with Josh Edmondson earlier. These drivers are racing aggressive because you can do that in these trucks, and Michael Boyd just got forcibly sent out of the way. But you can make that contact. You might be able to get some damage on your truck, might hurt you on the straights, but ultimately making contact in these trucks, it's not going to do much flipping like it used to in these trucks. So everybody's getting the elbows out, and Matthew Lindy just got up onto the 13. He saved himself. He's back up into P4. Not the same for those drivers that we just saw there in turn 2. Here's your battle for the transfer. Noah Carmichael has it. Tyler Bickford wants it into turn 1.
And I can tell by the fiberglass damage right there, there's been a lot of rubbing going on here. And a big hit there again, 727. It looks like Carmichael trying to get in there with Rafoss. You can see these two battle, the 199 driver there, as he tries to look to the inside once again. Behind him, you can see Carmichael sliding around again out of turn number 3 as they work up through the turnstiles again, up the hill. And the big run here, whoa, a little bit of contact there once again. These guys are getting a little rough.
And you can see that transfer battle starting to extend. That's Tyler Bickford now getting passed by Michael Boyd, but they're still 1 second behind that peak blue truck of Noah Carmichael in P6. It's still Hadley Boyce up front, still Ethan Curran behind, still Winkler, Lindy, Rafoss, those big names, those fast names that are racing out of this LCQ. They're still well within the top 6 right now. Here's the onboard with Michael Boyd down the hill into turn 2, trying to set up Tyler Bickford for a spot in P7. He dives it into that corner. Bickford responds, and so does Zachary Goddard.
And talk about taking a blow in the corner. No contact. Splins around the 717. Oh boy, I'll tell you, that is a nasty place. You can see the fiberglass, the souvenirs of the fans left on the track there. You can pick it up after the race and they'll be autographed.
Back up to P5. Jacob Rafoss, Noah Carmichael continuing their battle. That's Carmichael in that blue truck further back. Rafoss is on the back bumper of Matthew Lindy now as they go up the hill to turn 1. 4 laps remaining, over halfway done with our second of 2 LCQs. They're rubbing on each other down the hill heading into turn 2. Lindy inside, Rafoss outside. A crossover move attempted from Rafoss, but the 333 parking it in turn 2, able to hold on to P4. Remember, this is just for starting position in those mains. We saw what happened with Tom Grady in LCQ number 1. I have to think these drivers are keeping that in mind.
Oh, definitely. You can see Rafas is looking for any daylight whatsoever. Doesn't have to worry too much about Carmichael back there. You know, it's a good guy. He's got a couple positions. He's qualified. Rafas, now he just wants to get a better position as they make the run. A little contact off the wall there for Lindy. But Lindy's keeping it true and straight. Now we see into the turn here. Is there going to be another move to the inside there? Lindy keeps it tight, the nose down. No room whatsoever for Rafas as he comes around. And off the jump he goes. Into turn number 3 they head.
Rafas able to stay in lockstep with Lindy, just not able to make any of those moves work. We go now to the battle for the lead. That's on the bottom of your screen. That's Hadley Boyce and Ethan Curran as they continue to fight out of turn 3. Hadley Boyce has led since the drop of the green flag. Ethan Curran has basically been in second. Rafas gets loose on the top box out of turn number 3. That'll move Noah Carmichael a little bit further into that battle for P4, but the battle for the lead still has Boyce in front with 2 laps to go.
And a good run up here. You can see now it's going to come down to will Curran, you know, hold off on the binders a little early, trying to put it to the inside of Boyce as he tries to get to the outside. He could set up for the outside, inside. Nice little slide job. Let's see how tight Boyce keeps it coming into turn number 3. Curran's going to look down low. They'll come out close to side by side, but of course Boyce has got position.
He went wide in turn 2 to Hadley Boyce, but he was able to position that truck better for turn 3. But now he's a little bit wide off the exit of that corner. Curran not able to get the momentum down the back straightaway that he wanted. Does he look inside? Boyce is not going to be super aggressive on the defense there in turn 4, but Curran just didn't have the speed to do it. White flag in the air for LCQ number 2. Remember, top 6 will qualify. This isn't going to decide who qualifies for the main, but this will decide who gets to walk away with an LCQ2 and win, and Hadley Boyce has that lead down the hill again.
Yeah, Boyce wants to set himself up there, you know, not as deep in the field there, the best you can in an LCQ at this point. So he's going to do everything he can, drive his own line. He's got the fast preferred line going through turn number 2, set up for turn number 3. Curran trying to look at the inside, just can't get that drive. And the whole thing is right now, Boyce, it's his track, it's his line. He's got to take it. Curran's got to find a faster way around. And that's tough when you hit those apexes perfect like Boyce has.
Beautiful defense the entire race from Hadley Boyce, making Ethan Curran go where he's uncomfortable. Checkered flag is out. The Iridium Sim Sports entry of Hadley Boyce is going to qualify for the main events tonight out of LCQ number 2. Across the line goes Jacob Rafas, Matthew Lindy, Sean Winkler. Those fast names all will qualify. Noah Carmichael takes the final transfer spot to our main events tonight. It's Hadley Boyce, Ethan Curran, Sean Winkler, Matthew Lindy, Jacob Rafas, and Noah Carmichael, who will all qualify for tonight's main events. Michael Boyd, Zachary Goddard, Tyler Bickford, Matt Last, all will be heading home tonight. That forms our full field for both of tonight's 18-lap mains. Competition caution will be coming at the end of lap 8 for both of those mains to bunch that field back up, but we enter our 3-minute warm-up as we get ready for both of tonight's main events. The fast guys are going to be up front out of qualifying, but I think, Dave, we got a lot of fast guys that are going to be trying to race from the back out of those LCQs. It might not be the easiest thing to do, but I think especially here at Wild West, if some contact turns into wrecks, a lot of the guys in the back, if they keep their nose clean, are going to be able to make up some substantial spots, which could help them not just in tonight's overall, but in the series standings as well.
What you're trying to say is stay out of the carnage.
That seems obvious to me, but it's been an aggressive night already, and we still got 2 mains here to come.
No, I know. If it's any indication what we saw in round number 1, I think we're going to see a little repeat of it. Even though this is a longer, more stretched out, more elevation, the 90-degree turns coming around. Turn 1, turn 2. We're going to see bunch now. We're going to see 3, 4 wide through there. Turn 1 on the start, that's going to be gnarly. We're going to see guys getting on the binders, trying to break late too, some of them trying to get those speed, and that's where we're going to see these trucks. A lot of carnage getting stuffed in there. You got to watch it if you're in the back of the pack, because you don't want to be ended up in the carnage yourself.
It's big elevation, it's hairpin turns, and it's a classic in iRacing short course. There's a lot to be excited about in both of our main events coming up tonight. We mentioned the overall a couple of times. There are points that'll be up for grabs in both of tonight's mains, not just going towards their series total that will crown our series champion after round 6 at Crandon, but also for tonight's overall championship, which will give them the round win. Connor Berry has had the most points out of both of our main events so far in both starting rounds, so he has taken home 2 overalls. He's looking for a 3rd tonight and going 3 in a row, not only extending that series lead, but extending his all-time win total, because in order to win the round here for iRacing short course, you have to win the overall, which means you have to have the best combined points total and best combined finishing of both of the mains out of anybody else in this field.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things I love. It's kind of like a moto format. You know, in real life, we never ran 2 main events because the trucks just can't last. I'm just going to be honest there. This really lets them set up and really battle, and they get more racing, more bang for the buck, as I like to say. And it's going to be awesome. I just love that. Plus, it's all about the team championships there. The Grid 1 now. You know, can Drake Matag come back swinging and get back up there with his teammate? Or does the 199 come back? Edmondson was not there. Of course, we also saw McFarland, had some difficulty, but they've also got some points too with their other drivers, 199. So they've got bigger team other than the Grid 1, but Grid 1, I think, with Connor Berry is sitting up top.
They currently have that team championship lead by 8 points over Channel 199 Sim Racing. Will that change in the team championship tonight? Well, we are getting ready for main event number 1 of the evening. And as we take a look at that starting grid, Cody Wienecke is going to be leading the field to green after the invert. Thad Countryman will start to the outside, P2. Josh Edmondson will start P3 for Channel 199 Sim Racing, right up against Connor Berry for Grid 1 in the red plate, starting P4. Nicholas Dachelet, Trenton Briley will start 5th and 6th on the grid. Evan McFarland, Drake Matag, Luke Knupp, and Zachary Drapkin round out your top 10. Cody Vanderveer, Adam McAfee gonna start 11th and 12th on the starting grid with Brandon Forcade, Hadley Boyce, Quinton Delalmo, Ethan Curran, Rick Huseman, and Sean Winkler starting the drivers that qualified in out of our LCQs. That's Duscher, that's Lindy, that's Schieber, Rafos, Holdren, and Carmichael. 24 trucks, make it 20, maybe 25 if Tom Grady ends up taking the grid, but I don't believe he will. So 24 trucks will be taking the green flag here tonight, all led by Cody Wienecke. That random invert number tonight for the mains was 4. So Connor Berry, who had the quick time in qualifying, will be starting P4. So these trucks are on the grid, almost ready to go as we get ready for main event number 1. There's points on the line. There's a lot of aggression that we've seen through the opening rounds, Dave. Trying to predict what's going to happen here might be impossible, but I think it's easy to say. Connor Berry's going to run up front. Edmondson's going to be up front. Dachelet is going to be up front. Can Cody Wienecke hold on and get his first main win of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen other drivers too. I mean, in here, Nicholas Dachelet, we talked about Trenton Briley, McFarland. He showed a lot of speed. And Drake Matag, he came out swinging in round number 1. Of course, faltered in round number 2, but round number 3, we're going to see a lot. And then, of course, there's Luke Knupp. When that kid knows how to turn the speed on, he turns it on. And he's got a few wins here too.
I've been saying it for years. iRacing short course is one of the most competitive disciplines that you can race on iRacing, and it's for this reason. Everybody is so fast. Everybody's times are on top of each other. Everybody's so even on speed. It really comes down to who's going to be the most aggressive, who's going to make those moves at the right time, and who is not going to turn their aggression into crashing. We go on to an extra pace lap here as the field will work their way through turn 1 behind the official iRacing pace truck. It's 24 Pro 4 trucks strong, and just looking at the elevation change here, Dave, this is such classic Wild West. It's the elevation changes, it's the hairpin corners. I mean, this track is fun to drive, it's fun to watch. It's one of my personal favorites to both be behind the wheel and in the booth because it creates moments that you don't see at the other tracks with how tight these corners are.
Oh, I agree. This one's always, never disappoints whatsoever. Love the high speed, down the front straightaway. You got it. One little mistake and that thing, you're going for a tumble. We've seen it off the final turn so many times, guys coming off and contact up there. You got to be careful. You got to drive smart. You got to drive your lines. And this track, I just love it. And a crazy thing, we're at altitude up here. And, of course, the trucks just run normally different in real life, They haven't really taken that into setup yet in iRacing, but boy, oh boy, I remember the guys back in the day before fuel injection running around going, what jet's going to work in this carburetor?
Speaking of sim to real life, this track unfortunately no longer exists in real life, but we're able to race it in iRacing thanks to iRacing Off-Road. The pace truck is down and away. 24 Pro 4s ready for main event number 1. It's showtime from Wild West as the field goes up the hill to turn 1. Already leading the field to green goes Cody Weinecke. He's going to lead him into turn 1. We're already 3 wide. Back for P4 up the inside. Here comes Josh Edmondson for Channel 199 Sim Racing. He's side by side for second. That's that Countryman to the inside. Where does the carnage come in? Does it come in for the lead just yet? They're side by side already with Countryman looking for the lead now. Round the outside of Weinecke. Makes contact into turn 3.
And you can see right there, Trent Bradley trying to split the uprights, coming right through the middle there. And look at that, 3, 4, 5 rows, 3 wide, all racing up the hill. They're going to try and split off now. Everybody's going to start to make moves there, as you can see right now. That Countryman and Edmondson side by side. Edmondson on the inside, the red and white and black machine, 199 on the hood. But it's when Nickey's starting to run away. Connor Berry, though, he talked about him all the way back in 5th. He's got a lot of trucks to work through there. Not going to be so easy. Luke Knupp slides back a little bit, and Drake Matag.
That's Connor Berry up and over.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the red plate number 1. Connor Berry up and over in main event number 1. And that could lead to our first new round winner, an overall winner of the season. Berry went up and over. I think he's still running, but that is detrimental for the red plate driver.
Man, it looks like someone just scooped him up and flipped him right there. I can tell you, I knew it was going to get busy and turn it on 1, and I'm not shocked. Color me surprised? Not.
So up front, now the top 5 start to break away. It's Weinecke who holds the lead. It's Josh Edmondson now that sits P2, trying to chase him down. Edmondson on offense, not normally as good as his defense, but he's going to have to try and catch that 9 truck up ahead. Loses a right rear fender, no issue there. He keeps moving P2. Here's the replay of Connor Berry. Gets a shove from behind, and they just run out of real estate here. The truck takes flight up onto his lid, gets hit again. Shades of Ryan Newman at the Daytona 500 a couple years ago, and that was all just running out of space in turn 1. Berry has been able to continue. He went from P22 now up to P20. Here's the onboard from the 1 truck.
Yeah, you can definitely see he got a little help there from his teammate Drake Matag, but Berry had nowhere to go. Truck to the inside, a truck behind him coming underneath there. Unfortunately, he just got up in it. Nobody's true fault there, just a racing incident.
Remember, we mentioned 8 points separating Grid 1 and Channel 199 Sim Racing in the team championship. That could change hands as soon as the end of this main if Channel 199 Sim Racing keeps their trucks up front. We're back mid-pack, side by side. That's Austin Schieber that is currently on the inside of that 1 truck of Connor Berry. He's behind this group as it's the 322 of Quinton Delamo. Then it's Schieber, then Connor Berry. Berry able to go to the outside of Schieber. Now looks to try and make work on Quinton Delamo. He has time. He has a competition caution that'll bunch this field back up. But from P18, 9.6 seconds back from the lead, Berry's just trying to salvage all he can now.
Yeah, Berry, no hood, no fenders, just driving it. Mud on the windshield. He doesn't care. Look at the focus on his face as we see him coming down that front straight once again. You can see McAfee right there, Batman himself, battling in the number 18 machine there. And we got some great battles going through the field. This is going all the way to P12 and 11 there. Curran, McAfee, Boyce, as he's looking right near at the rear end of Curran, the 54. And I do believe that was a truck also involved in that incident close to it when Berry was going through that turn. A couple other trucks were involved also. Kind of crazy.
Jump back up inside the top 5. Here comes Luke Knupp now into P4. He's in a side-by-side battle with Nicholas Dachelet. Dave, what were you saying earlier about Luke Knupp? Once he gets the jets going, he's able to run up front.
Yeah, I know. He's been so busy prepping trucks and doing a little racing himself, though, in real life. You know, you got to wonder how much time that young man has to spend on the sims. But he was so dominant in the early years. But everybody else has caught up to him now. He's got to re-catch back up, I think. But he's still got it. Talented driver. He's a wheelman.
I think back to the World Championship when a lot of these drivers were taking part in that World Championship that ran for 2 seasons. Luke Knupp and Zachary Drapkin were 2 known names that raced in the All-Star Series that I think if they would have put the time in and qualified for the World Championship, they would have been holding a candle to some of the guys that were running up front at the time. Back up to the front of this field, though, Weineke and Edmondson still in lockstep. First place for the 9, second place for the 58. You're on board with Josh Edmondson. Pimax VR on, up and into turn 1. The 9 goes a little bit to the outside. Look at Edmondson trying to get that truck to the inside. He gains up a little bit of ground, but not looking for that lead just yet. We do have a competition yellow coming end of next lap.
Edmondson looks to the inside. You know, of course, you know, he prefers the Pro 2, but boy, I can tell you, he can drive the wheels off a Pro 4 there as we're watching. He keeps on looking to the inside, but when Nicky has that, I like to call it the middle preferred line, the fast line through turn number 3, the run up the hill there. Edmondson just couldn't get any more speed on him, but he's right there, right on the back porch, looking to trespass. In fact, he wants to kick that door out, but he can't get. He needs to get up there and get a little contact with me. He needs to lay a fender on, let Nicky know I'm right here.
These Pro 4 trucks might be 4-wheel drive, but the horsepower under the hood of these trucks causes all 4 wheels to spin if you're not careful. That's the main goal, trying to get up and off of these corners, is that you're not spinning the tires. Side by side now for the lead. We have a competition yellow coming end of this lap. Edmondson on the back bumper of Weineke gives a little shot into turn 2, but as they set themselves up for turn 3, that just bled off a little bit of speed for the 58. Back to the inside. Can't get there by the middle apex point of turn 3, and down the back straightaway they'll come to the competition yellow this time by. I wouldn't expect Edmondson to make an aggressive move for the lead off of this restart. He won't. He will stay P2, but the yellow flag will come out at the end of this lap, and we're going to slow them down, bunch them back up, and go racing for the second half of this main. Across the line for P6, that's Zachary Drapkin and Luke Knupp fighting for P5. Now the field will start to slow themselves down. Weineke will be leading the field back to the green flag. So far this season, the drivers that have been leading at halfway haven't necessarily been the favorites to win. Will that change tonight as Cody Weineke looking for his first main event win of the season?
And I'm also looking through the field, Connor Berry back in 14th. You know, he always has a great restart. He's a second half of the race driver, but I'm also looking at Drake Matag and Briley. And I'm excited to see Drapkin and Knupp battle. It wouldn't be the first time. I remember those guys used to battle, and you know, all these kids battle in mod carts. So this is just so awesome to see in real life again.
Connor Berry getting all the way down to P22 after flipping twice in turn number 1 and has driven himself up back into P14. I can't help but think everybody in that top 10, they're starting to hear the Jaws music. They're starting to see the fin above the water, and that's the one truck of Connor Berry, who is now back into the mid-pack from being almost out of this race.
Slicky's now the great white shark of dirt.
Of course he is.
Oh man, this is just incredible. I mean, I knew this was going to be a good race, but these battles don't surprise me. But what it was surprising, Connor Berry, you know, battling his way back. Hadley Boyce, he's sitting in 12th. He was a winner of the LCQ. Jacob Raffas, you know, wasn't with us in the second round. Still sitting in a good position. This restart's going to be everything. We're going to see guys going for turn number 1.
And as the field sits outside of turn 3, just waiting on the, looks like 333 and the 40 to catch up to the tail end of the field here in turn 3. Then we'll be ready to roll them again. Then we'll be ready to get back to racing. That's Matthew Lindy, who ran into issues early on in this race, has not been further up the field just yet, and gets on the brakes and barely avoids hitting the back end of Sean Winkler there in the 720. But the field will roll back off down the back straightaway. We'll go back to racing with 9 laps to go here in main event number 1. Points on the line for the series. They're on the line for our overall championship tonight. And with Weineke in this lead right now, he's got the Channel 199 Sim Racing machine of the 58 of Josh Edmondson behind him. You're on board with Nicholas Dachelet as he looks for the green flag. Restart zone at the bottom of this hill and at the bottom of your start-finish line tabletop. Field bunches themselves up. Who plays the restart games? Weinecke's going to get on the loud pedal, and he's going to get a great jump over Edmondson. He had the whole shot at the start of this race and is going to be leading by multiple truck lengths into turn 1 to the inside of the 58. Helping him rotate goes Thad Countryman, and that's Zachary Drapkin up and onto the K-rail.
And I believe that was Knupp.
That was Knupp.
Yeah, Knupp. You can't miss those day-glow colors, the pink on him there. And you can see it's changed up the whole complexion of this race at this point. Matag, he slid up to the 5th position. He got by Trenton Briley, and Drapkin battling it out there. A little wiggle-waggle going on as we see the 322 making her way through there also.
We saw that one of Connor Perry up and in the mess and in the thick of things. He's up in a P13 now, side by side, as McAfee looking to the outside of David Holdren. Now back up to a side-by-side battle. This is for P3. This is Dachelet on the outside, or inside, Countryman on the outside. They slide themselves into turn 1, and here comes Drake Matag, the one lone grid 1 entry in this top 5, sitting on that edge in P5.
And Drake does a little cross jump, looks to the inside there again, right behind, it looks like Matag. So he comes around there too, and you can see Drapkin, Countryman, Dachelet. Oh, a little bit of a slide out around there too. You see Drake Matag as we're back on board with him, and boy, did he get pushed back deep in the field to P22.
Got pushed on that K-rail. Shades of Luke Knupp in turn 1. He was able to keep going, but now sits at the tail end of the field. This is all within your top 5, and almost going around his Countryman. What a save off the exit at turn 4. They're all chasing down Zachary Drapkin, who sits tail end of the podium. You're on board with Cody Vanderveer for Racecraft Academy to the inside. They're all beating and banging into turn 1. The 23 does a wheelie off the exit of the corner, and Vanderveer's around. Same with multiple other trucks as they pile into turn 1.
Oh, I couldn't even tell. You can see Vanderveer got caught up in that one too, slid across it. I just think Winkler just hit the K-rail. I think 3 trucks got slammed up against that K-rail out of turn number 2 there. As we see Cody Winicki still up front battling with Edmondson. As we look a little deeper in the field, you can see McAfee there trying to slide around the outside. He's trying to make some things happen. Schreiber there as we look deep back in the field. We're talking 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th there with McAfee, the Batman. There's
Connor
Lindy.
Berry now sits P21 in the pit stave. He is out of this thing. He was in that mess at turn 1. There's everything happening in front of him. Gets forced into the 54. Gets forced into Vanderveer as well. He doesn't go up and over, but I gotta think he had race-ending damage. There he goes onto the K-rail.
Yeah, it's going for that rail slide.
There was just nothing this one truck could do.
No.
Here he goes up into turn number 1. He runs into the back of the 54 as they stack up and get stacked up from behind.
Not the way you want this to go there. You can see all kinds of carnage back there. You can see Winkler getting slid up on the wheel. Barry getting caught up in it. Boy, oh boy, everybody's deep. Connor Berry back in P21. Knupp all the way back. Look at this. In the pits for Drake Matag now. McFarland back in the pits. Knupp down 2 laps. Boy, things have changed in the middle of the back of the pack. But look at this, Edmondson. He just for a second, he's got the lead. He has the outside line. Is he going to go down a little chop block here on Winicki? Winicki holds tight to the inside, pushes Edmondson. Edmondson trying to get his nose as they head to turn number 2. Here comes Winicki sliding around. He's got that middle profiled line again. Winicki takes the lead back. Edmondson back to second.
Powers around the outside for the 9. Edmondson now sits inside for the left-hander of turn 4. You're on board with Edmondson. Side by side for the lead into 4. They make contact again. Door slam again. It'll be 4 laps to go at the line. And Cody Winicki gets back to the lead. Now by a couple truck lengths as Edmondson has to set up again. Up the stairs into turn 1. He can't set it up into turn 1 here. Trying to just get back side by side.
And Edmondson trying to get there to the inside again. Once he gets those elbows out, he's a motocross racer. He knows how to throw it in there. He knows how to push it in. A little bit of a pivot turn, trying to look for something here out of turn 2, trying to set up here again. When Nicky's got some quick speed, stays that preferred line, keeps the nose. No daylight for Edmondson to make the run. Let's see if he's going to try and get a run. I don't think he's enough speed here to make another chance here at the final turn coming around.
It'll be 3 laps to go this time by. On board with Edmondson, bottom of your screen, top of your screen. You're watching the tail end of the top 5. That's Nicholas Dachelet, that's Thad Countryman. That side-by-side battle is between Brandon Fourcade and Jacob Rafos. Rafos inside, Fourcade outside. Fourcade has to give way to the 13 of Jacob Rafos, but Rafos up into P8. Now we're back on board with Josh Edmondson, who is fighting from P2. I mentioned earlier his defense is sometimes a little bit better than his offense, but he's been on offense since the beginning of this race. Couldn't clear Weinecke for the lead last time by. Now has to try and clear him again with lap traffic up ahead as well. Looks to be a Drake Matag coming out of the pits.
Yeah, you see great lines by Cody. See, staying right in front of Edmondson. Edmondson's going to try and tuck inside, and then he'll split off right before the turn and see if he can get down. Can't even lay a little fiberglass on him. You want to get up there. You got to get that nose in there. And I say get the shoehorn out, kick the door in, what you got to do to make that pass. But you also don't want to take him out either.
That wasn't without lack of trying from Edmondson. It looked like he was trying to get to the door, move Weinecke up and out of the way, just couldn't get there in time in turn 4. They go back down the hill into turn 2. Weinecke has just been able to protect every single move that Edmondson has been trying to get at him. Weinecke has not put a foot wrong other than that one time that we saw the 9 and the 58 side by side. Down the back straightaway, it'll be white flag this time by, and Weinecke is looking good at the front of the field. Edmondson's just has nothing for him.
Yeah, it sucks. You can see Drake Matag's right in front of him. He's down a lap at that point. Same with Connor Berry back there. These guys, it's just not used to seeing the Grid 1 drivers back there. But right now, 199 looking to climb the ladder in points as he tries to chase down Cody Weinecke. Looking to the inside again. Can he keep that speed? No, he's going to get on the binders, though. That middle preferred line, you just keep on the gas there, keep that front tires pulling you around, the back tires pushing you. Edmondson makes another through the double here. Tries to look down inside. Weinecke, beautiful, just keeping that traction going, keeping that drive forward.
Edmondson's going to have 2 more chances. Here's one of them in turn 3. Doesn't get the drive in or the drive off he was looking for. And Weinecke down the back straightaway is sitting good at the front of the field through the final corner. What does Edmondson throw at him if he's got anything to throw at all? Tried to get to the inside, but has nothing for Cody Weinecke. Across the line is a main event winner in the iRacing Short Course Pro 4 National Series, and Channel 199 Sim Racing puts 2 on the podium in their pursuit of the team championship.
Well, I'll tell you right now, when Nicky just put the dice in there, he shook it up, threw it down, and said, Yahtzee, baby, I took the win.
They all come across the line, and Connor Berry's going to come across P20 at the end of that main. That is huge for our overall points and the series points. Cody Weinecke grabs the win of main number 1. His night's not over, though. We have main event number 2, where you can try and get that overall win coming up next. Josh Edmondson finishes P2. Zachary Drapkin finishes P3. That's the end of your podium with Trenton Briley and Nicholas Dachelet rounding out your top 5. Thad Countryman ended up P6 for Team Gold Esports. Good night for him, ending up in the top 10. Jacob Rafos back after a week off, sits P7. Hadley Boyce, Brandon Fourcade, Matthew Lindy rounding out your top 10. Back from there, Rick Huseman, Cody Vanderveer, David Holdren, Noah Carmichael, and Brady Tesher rounding out your top 15 with Sean Winkler, Adam McAfee, Quinton Delolmo ending the drivers that finished on the lead lap. Now back from there, there's Ethan Curran, there's Connor Berry for Grid 1, who ends up P20, and down the rest of your field, Connor Berry ends up P20. It was Knupp, Matag, and more back from there who ended up with issues at the end of that race. Now, we get to talk with your main event winner here, Dave. Cody Weinecke ends up winning it from P9 in the number 9 truck, led flag to flag, and what an effort from Channel 199 Sim Racing, and what an effort from Cody Weinecke.
We have Cody.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there you are. Didn't see your picture or pop up there, no camera on you. But Yahtzee, baby, you took the win there. And I'll tell you, you and Edmondson, what an incredible battle there. Talk about this race, though. A lot of carnage behind you. I don't know if you knew what was unfolding.
Oh, it feels great to finally get a win under the bag, and thanks to Josh for racing me hard but racing me clean at the same time. You know, we're teammates, but we still throw down on the racetrack, and it was just a blast to run up front.
Yeah, I got to say, watching the lines there, Edmondson was really starting to, change up, looking to put his nose in there. Was it making you a little nervous? Oh, he's my teammate. He's not going to take me out.
Yeah, definitely. I was getting a little nervous. The worn out track, I kept oversteering and understeering, and I couldn't figure it out. But hopefully, we get it figured out for the second main, and hopefully, I'll have my camera on for the next race. I've just been trying to work out some issues.
So a little dry slick out there right now?
Yeah, definitely the blue groove is getting to me.
Oh, boy. Well, I got to say, good luck to you here, boy. Yeah, you got the monkey off your back. Now you just got to breathe through and go for another one.
Yep. We'll see. Well, I want to thank Channel 199, Track Racer, Racecraft, Polaris Racing, MRT Tires, Top Box Racing, Winnicky Motorsports, my wife, and thank you guys for the great league. And we'll try to get up here for the next one.
Good luck, Cody. A little bit different than UTV.
Yeah.
Well, Cody Winnicky, the man with a bullseye on his back there. Joshua.
And that makes a Channel 199 Sim Racing win. And as well, it makes a Channel 199 Sim Racing second place as well. Josh Edmondson finishes second step on the podium. Josh, and the work's not done. You still got a main event coming up. But how'd that first main event feel? I know you were pretty much on offense trying to get around the 9 for the duration of that race and just couldn't get anything by Winnicky.
Yeah, kind of. I didn't want to try and force a pass too much because you lose so much time when you battle. So that first half, I was trying to just hang out there. There was a bit of a gap right before the comp caution, so I tried to make a move, and it showed they caught right back up. So that second half, once we got a gap, I wanted to try and make a move, and then, we were losing time. And obviously, Cody's a teammate and all that, so I was just pretty content sitting there for a little while. It's really hard to pass when you're the same speed and all that. So, I was happy with the P2 in that one.
Cody mentioned racing a teammate. You mentioned racing a teammate at the front of this field. We've been mentioning the team championship so far. It was a gap of 8 points between you and Grid 1. Connor Berry had those issues in that main. Starting to close in that team championship. Is that a main focus as you guys go further into this season, or is it really driver-based focus for you guys as a team?
I'd say more driver-based focused. Obviously, it'd be cool to win the team championship again. It's cool having that and having our guys up front. But ultimately, it's individual racing. We're out there for ourselves, and Cody's in the championship too. And obviously, I missed a week, so I'm pretty far out of the points from missing around. So, that's another reason why I was kind of not pushing it too hard. I didn't want to make do anything crazy and ruin his points or my own finish. So.
One more main to go. One more opportunity at points for the round win tonight. Go get them in main number 2. Congratulations on your second place in main 1.
Thanks, Josh.
Good to hear from Josh Edmondson, both of our Channel 199 sim racing guys at the front of the field after that one. Third place, Dave Zachary Drapkin. He's joining you, and I'm sure he's happy about that one in the Racecraft Academy Red Line oil truck.
I gotta say, Zach, what an incredible race there. You're always so quiet there, and all of a sudden, there's Zach. Is that sometimes a little frustrating? It looks like the second half of the race, you always really come on too.
It's just, you got to haunt them. You got to sit back there and be smart. And a lot of people got crashed out by a lot of people in the front. So I just picked my lines, was smart through it. That open wheel I guess I'm an open wheel guy because I don't like making contact. And I don't think I hit anybody that entire race. So we just made it all the way to the front and battled with it. Well, the top 2 were gone, but I got into my third position and just settled in there and just played it smart to get to the end.
It had to be a little hairy because we saw you were battling with Luke Knupp there, and then he got caught up in there. How you avoided that carnage, I don't know. It's like the seas parted for you.
It totally did. Yeah, I saw both them. I saw Luke and I think it was the 23 truck got together, and Luke went over the wall, and I was like, I'm going this way, and they both spun on the bottom and just made it through. You got to say, like I said, just got to be lucky and be smart where you put your truck at the end of the race.
Well, I got to say, good job there, and I know you got some probably people you want to thank for this one, and good to see your bed's made.
Bed is made. Big shout out, happy birthday to my dad. It's his 56th
Happy
birthday today.
Scott.
Yep. 56. That's a truck. Gave me some good luck. Redline Oil, Signature Repellers, Competitive Edge Performance, Weddle Industries, Racecraft Academy, Sean, Cody, and Austin, Sign Pros, McMullen Racing, Skydive Elsinore, iBlock, and CBR. Keep my truck running good and looking good. So, and then big shout out to you guys for putting on a great stream. And let's go to race 2.
There you go. Good luck in race 2 there. Zach Drapkin, everybody.
And that is your podium finishers there for main event number 1. We've got one more race upcoming here tonight, and a lot of excitement out of that first race, Dave, and a lot of excitement heading into main event number 2 is Connor Berry lost a ton of points, and he won both of our round wins in round 1 and round 2. This is opening the door for somebody new to potentially get that round win and potentially take the lead in this series standings. It was only 13 points between Countryman and Barry, and with Barry finishing down there in P20, Countryman finishing, I believe, P6 in main event number 1. He's already etched into that lead.
Well, it's also going to make a difference, too, like you talked about with Connor and Drake and everybody. They're deeper in the field now. They're not up front. The front line has changed up there. You can see it's going to be quite hairy on this one. You're going to have a lot of fast guys in the back trying to charge away front, but we saw the carnage in race number 1. Will it be avoided? Well, I guess we're going to have to find out.
I'll remind everybody of those overall points that we've been discussing so far tonight. We take the points that they have earned from main event number 1. We'll combine them with the points they have earned in the upcoming main event number 2. The combined points totals are then ranked, and whoever had the highest amount of points earns the round win. These main event wins count towards the overall round win, so those count as official iRacing Short Course Pro 4 National Series race wins. You have to win the overall, you have to win the round. If you're familiar with Monster Energy Supercross, much like the Triple Crown races, the main wins matter, but you want that overall, and that's what everybody's chasing, especially if you finished top 5 in main event number 1. You're trying to do that same thing, stay consistent, and get the overall win.
I know, and consistency is a hard thing to do when you got all this talent up there, and we just saw you could be consistent, win 2 rounds, and then you get shuffled around like a used shoe.
So as we wait for main event number 2, you're taking a look at practice right now. First lap's going down for main event number 2. Here at Virtual Wild West Motorsports Park. Currently fastest, that Countryman, Evan McFarland, just laid down a pretty good lap going into P2. But, of course, this is a different race session for main event number 2. That track was reset, so we do see these drivers putting some rubber down, putting some wear into this track ahead of the race, which nothing's going to replace a full field of 24 at race speed, but this is just a little bit of practice on a clean track for these drivers, which they haven't really felt for most of them since qualifying.
Yeah, the track looks really good there. They've done such a good job in iRacing with these conditions there. The only thing they're missing is the pits. We look at all the other, they've got motorhomes and semis and all that. It looks a little sparse. That's where all the fans would park, right there. And then right behind the grandstands, down on the hill in those areas, right there is where all the pits were. And it was incredible to see how full those were.
And we mentioned earlier, unfortunately, this track no longer around in the real world, but it's one of the tracks that we get to immortalize by racing virtually and keeping it in the sim. Unfortunately, off-road tracks are kind of going that direction, where we've added another one to the list of tracks that are now immortalized in iRacing. And it's just a good thing that not only are we able to scan a track before it closes and keep it immortalized, but also in the case of North Wilkesboro Speedway, bring an old historic track back to the masses by rebuilding it in iRacing. It's great that we're able to use the virtual platform to keep racing going at some of these tracks that no longer have them.
Yeah, I know, I love it. And it's a shame. This was an old quarry. Norm Deanda, his family owned it. Unfortunately, he passed away. The family sold the land off, and bye-bye track. It's a shame.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we are losing racetracks every single week, but we're losing another racetrack in Wild West. Trenton Briley will be on the pole for main event number 2 with Zachary Drapkin on the outside. There's Edmondson, there's Wienecke, your third and fourth starters, Nicholas Dachelet, Thad Countryman, 5th and 6th on the starting grid. Jacob Rafoss, Hadley Boyce, share row 4, Brandon Forcade, Matthew Lindy, rounding out your top 10 with Rick Huseman, Cody Vanderveer on row 6. Further back, it's David Holdren, Noah Carmichael, Brody Descher rounds out your top 15 for Badger State Simworks. Racecraft Academy's Sean Winkler will start P16, then Quentin Talalmo, Ethan Curran. P19 is going to go to Connor Berry with Austin Schieber starting P20. Luke Knupp, Drake Matag, Adam McAfee, and Evan McFarlane rounding out your field. And Connor Berry will start deep in the field in P19. He had a lot of work to do in that first main, got back up to the mid-pack, got involved in another incident. He can salvage a lot of points if he stays clean here, doesn't get caught up in other people's messes, and does what he did in main event number 1, Dave, of driving through the field.
Yeah, that's going to be, it's going to, staying out of the carnage is going to happen out there. But I'll tell you, another driver that I've seen that I know that's driven this in real life. In fact, the two guys out front have both driven this track in real life. So I'm always curious to ask, the differences. Does it feel familiar? Do the lines change and all that? And we're going to see these two battle out there. I know that Trenton Briley's raced in a Superlight out here too, which were the Mazda power trucks at one time, which were fun, like an IROC series.
Trenton Briley will lead the field to green here in main event number 2. Haven't seen a whole lot of him so far this season. Looking for some solid points here. Remember, Connor Berry came into this round as your points leader. Thad Countryman came in P2. They were kind of on an island of their own with Evan McFarlane, Zachary Drapkin, Quentin Delalmo, Drake Matag, Cody Weinecke, all very close in points through the middle of the top 10. But that lead from Connor Berry had a massive hit when he had those incidents in main event number 1. Looks to pick up the pieces here in main event number 2, but starting from P19, we're going to be watching him throughout the duration of this event. Remember, competition caution, end of lap 8. You want to see how good Connor Berry is doing in this main, check back in with his position at that competition caution and see how far up through the field he is and how much ground he has gained. Field working their way down the back straightaway and into turn 4. That iRacing official pace truck will pull into the safety of the pit lane. And for the second and final time tonight, we are ready for main event racing here in iRacing Short Course Pro 4 National Series. Pace truck is gone. Field hits the restart zone. It's showtime for main number 2 here from Wild West. And it's not a hole shot for Briley. He's got side-by-side battling up and into turn number 1. Drapkin on the outside. Edmondson gets a hip check. To the inside goes Nicholas Dachelet in the 23. They're still side by side. Edmondson saves it. One truck off the track. We're still side by side down into turn 2. Briley outside the 56. A Drapkin to the inside. And oh, by the way, here comes Josh Edmondson looking for the lead again.
Edmondson looking up the inside of Drapkin there, and you can see Briley with a great exit speed heading up the hill, but Drapkin settled back to P3 there behind him. It's going to be Lindy, Dachelet, Winicky, Raffis, Countryman, Vanderveer, and Boyce. But look at this. A little bit of a nudge there from Edmondson into Briley. Briley takes it all the way to the wall, tries to keep that speed up there, trying not to have any friction or any speed shaved off whatsoever. Edmondson with a big run up there. Contact with Trent Briley. Edmondson just barely takes the lead. We have a new leader. It's Josh Edmondson, Briley, and Drapkin in P3.
You heard in his interview he didn't want to race too aggressively, especially with a teammate from Channel 199 Sim Racing, but he's getting the elbows out now as Trenton Briley tried to answer the call going into turn 2, but unfortunately Edmondson just a little bit too quick, and now they're 3 wide for second. Truck hitting the K-rail on the inside. That's Winicky as Josh Edmondson looks in his rearview mirror, trying to now pull away from Briley and Drapkin. You're on board with the 56 P3.
Edmondson right there holding that line there as we saw Drapkin look to the inside. He's just sitting watching these two, watching their lines, trying to figure out where they're making the mistakes, where they're breaking points out there. Do you outbrake them? Do you break a little early and go around? He's going to go to the inside. He's going to stay there. A little contact with Briley there as Briley stays right up to the bumper of Edmondson as they head to turn number 2. This is going to be important, this setup there. Edmondson with a beautiful line around there. Edmondson holds on to it, and then Briley tucks in right behind him. And same with Drapkin. Look at the battle back there with Lindy and Winnicki. Winnicki to the inside. And you can see Lindy on the outside, the 333 machine there, as it's going to be Winnicki comes out ahead.
This is a Hornet's Nest mid-pack of the top 10. That's Lindy outside. Inside goes Dashalet, and he makes contact with Winnicki on the outside line, and he falls a little bit further back into that top 5. This entire group here is bookended by Jacob Rafos, who's trying to catch up as well. Here's Nicholas Dashalet back to the inside of Winnicki in turn 1, trying to make the move work, can't get there, stays P5.
And just rubbing on that fender right in front of him. Dashalet looking for a little move on Winnicki. Looks to the inside. Winnicki with a great line there. Keeps it tight. Dashalet's going to have to back off just a little bit. You can see the top 3 right in front of them as he's concentrating on Winnicki. You know, he's got one step at a time. Dashalet is saying, okay, just look what's in front of you. Don't look what's way past him at this point.
So Edmondson leads now to the tune of about 0.6 of a second. Make it 7 up at the front of this field. The battles are all this middle portion of the top 10. Matthew Lindy leading in P6 over Thad Countryman. That's Jacob Rafos that I mentioned earlier there in P8. As they race their way up into turn number 1, side by side between Delalmo and Ethan Curran. Curran to the inside of Delalmo. That'll switch now to the outside as they go from left-hander to right-hander of turn 2. But as far as overall points go, Dave, Josh Edmondson's looking really good with a 2nd place and a 1st place. He's sitting top of our overall standings.
And you can see Rafis having a little contact there with Lindy. Lindy rubs up the inside there. And you can see that Countryman falls back just a little bit there as these two battle it out. He's trying to get a little daylight there. Contact again with Rafis there. Rafis going to stay on Lindy at this point, keeping that pressure up there as they're side by side down the hill.
Back across the start-finish line. We have put 5 laps behind us. We go on to lap 6. Remember, end of lap 8 will be that competition caution, bunching the field back up. Rafos to the inside of Lindy as Dashalet makes a move on Winnicki there for P4, or tries to, I should say. That is Winnicki to the inside, Dashalet on the outside. 3 wide almost in the background with Lindy, Rafos, and Countryman. Your overall standings now also sitting on the right side of your screen. Edmondson, a 5-point gap over Winnicki if he's not able to make up spots.
And look at Dashalet ran up the inside as it looks like Rafis and Lindy continues to battle. And Dashalet and Countryman are battling around there. You can see these guys, 2 sets of battles. Countryman trying to hold off these 2 as they battle. They're kind of forgetting about him because they're just worried about beating and banging on each other. And then we're going to go back up to Dashalet as he keeps the pressure up on Winnicki.
Edmondson now leading by over a second. This is where the battles are on track, with Countryman now working his way up into P6. We go further back. It's Huseman, Schieber, and Curran. There's Connor Berry in the 1 truck. That red plate might not be around for much longer, but he's trying to get to the outside of Winkler. Curran takes that as an opportunity to get to his inside. It swaps right back into turn 3. A shot given to the back bumper of the 1, and Connor Berry just tried to get P11, has to settle for P12 down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Curran definitely had a great exit speed going on there. Barry's looking for a little speed to get past him. Curran bounces through there. Barry's going to lean on him just a little bit on the driver's side there. And you can see right behind them is another battle with Huseman as he continues to make the run there.
There's a very slight amount of damage to that left front of Connor Berry, so he did get into a little bit of contact and keeps doing it. And that left rear starts to come apart as well, but he's able to now get by Ethan Curran up and into P11 now. Here's your battle for P2 that has started to develop. It's Drapkin in second right now. It's Trenton Briley who's trying to get that spot back in P2. There's Dashalet and Winnicki in the background, also side by side. Again, it is Dashalet on the inside, or yeah, Winnicki on the outside, and here comes that Countryman inside of 3 wide. He gets up on the berm in turn 4 and has to give way to both of those spots. A little too aggressive.
He wasn't just going to lay a door on him. He laid the whole weight of the truck on there, and that did cause him some problems, but he didn't lose any speed. You can see Dashalet still holding off Winnicki as they come around. But let's also talk about this. Drapkin moved from 3rd to 2nd, because right now we're at the comp costume. We're going to re-rack, we're going to restack at this point. But Drapkin able to get Briley on that last lap there, moved into 2nd place. Briley slipping back a little bit. Now Edmondson He's lost that second gap that we talked about. You said he was out front. He was starting to run away. Well, guess what? Now they're right back on his tail.
He was in a really, really comfortable spot that he's going to have to try and get back now on this restart. We'll go green with 9 laps remaining. We saw how important it was for Wienecke in that first main to get a good jump off of this restart, lead the field by a couple truck lengths up to turn number 1. That's how Wienecke was able to control that race. Can Edmondson do the exact same thing? Field comes to a stop for the competition yellow. It will be Edmondson ahead of Drapkin, Briley, Dashalet, and Wienecke, your top 5 when we go back to green. Peeping in the chat, I do see Trevor Teal, good friend of all of ours here at RaceSpotTV. Happy he's tuning along. Happy I get to be back in the booth, as he complimented me in the chat as well. Happy to be back with everybody here at iRacing Short Course, even if it's just for the evening. Like I mentioned earlier, Arjuna Kankipati over in Sebring for the 12 hours of Sebring on the IMSA side of things this week. So I get to fill in with you, Dave, for a very, very exciting 2 main events tonight, and what could potentially be a swapping of the red plate when we go back to racing in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, I know. This is absolutely crazy thinking about this one. This has been the most carnage there, the most switch up there. Just when you think you got it figured out, well, we just changed it up. Edmondson, not here last week. You know, Wienecke, not here last week. Look at them in the top 5 right there, 199. We also got the Rafas there, the 199 too. I'm talking about the team points. I know everybody's battling for their own, but I find this team thing, only 2 guys on one team, they were leading the points. A larger team, 199, who has won the championship before. So not only can you win individually, but you could also win with your team.
Channel 199 Sim Racing not only looking to put another driver into victory lane, they're also looking for the lead of the team championship, which could be very possible with Grid 1's struggles in both mains tonight. Back to green, the second half of main event number 2 is underway. There's Josh Edmondson, he's on the loud pedal, trying to go up the hill into turn number 1. He's got a commanding lead, he'll keep that commanding lead. Briley to the back bumper as Zachary Drapkin, losing a bit of time for the 56. That's Matthew Lindy, I believe. That was just up and onto the K-rail. He gets back going straight. Luke Knupp off the track. He'll hold on to P13. Connor Berry enters the top 10.
And he had to just avoid that contact through there. Briley now on the back bumper of Drapkin. You can see Dashalet and Wienecke in tow as they make the run up the hill. Like you said, Edmondson trying to stretch that lead. He's hoping these guys are going to worry about the battle there. Will Drapkin go into protection mode there with Briley and allow Edmondson to run away, because Briley is all over Drapkin like a cheap polyester suit.
Where do you look? Do you look at the windshield? Do you look out the mirror? How is Zachary Drapkin going to play this? Because right now in the overall standings, if Drapkin were to get around Edmondson, he could be looking good in the overall standings. They're side by side again for second. Briley looks outside. Zachary Drapkin protects the spot and protects from a crossover move as well. There's the 23 of Dashalet, who tried to make a move on Briley through turn 2. They're now single filed out through turn 3 and down the back straightaway. Connor Berry is further into the top 10. Put him to P7. There he is leading that back group.
Yeah, you can see that little gap there. You can see that fender flying just a little bit. The left front. There is no right rear fender. You can see the carnage. The rear left one's flapping. Every corner has been hit. Oh, and it looks like, what was it? The 51. Cheever, yep. Unfortunately got spun out there. And Winkler with a lot of damage. You can see there, he's right behind Huseman, the all-white machine. As we look at the number 1, the red plate there, he's getting a little bit of help from Del Alma around that corner. He says, let me get away from everybody. I just want to chase him.
That Countryman was able to gain a lot of points on Connor Berry to the series standings in that first main. Berry now has to try and get past Countryman to gain some of those points back on the evening. Trenton Briley just had a terrible turn 2 and turn 3. He got knocked out of the way and now sits P6 at the tail end of this lead group. Still in the lead is Edmondson. Zachary Drapkin now has a good gap back to P3 and Nicholas Dashalet, who now has to try and etch into that lead. But as we go on to lap 13, entering 6 laps to go, Edmondson has that same gap, Dave, that he had at the competition yellow earlier on here in main 2.
Yeah, I know that battle between Drapkin and Dashalet would, slow those two down just a little bit, but it's crazy to see Dashalet, Wienecke, Countryman to get by Briley. Briley back there just fighting for this one right now. Briley, he's had a win here before. He knows how to put it on the box. But, boy, it's hard to find speed to match Josh Edmondson. He is hungry. I guess last week's break gave him a little rest. He found some energy to get out there and just run away. But Drapkin, he's able to pull away a little bit from Dashalet. Dashalet's going to have to worry about when Nicky as he starts to crawl up there as Briley just falls back just a little bit more. About 2 trunk lengths now separate him from Countryman.
We now go to 5 laps remaining. Drapkin was able to close in a slight bit on Edmondson. Last time by 48.26 by Zachary Drapkin, a 48.32 from Edmondson. He was able to gain back a slight bit of time, but catching Edmondson and passing him is 2 completely different things. I mentioned earlier, I thought his defense was just a little bit better than his offense. That's proved true so far here in main event number 2, as he has led since he took that lead away from Trenton Briley.
I don't think he's got to worry about defense right now. He's running smooth. He keeps on gapping a little bit. He's not pulling away from Drapkin too much. Drapkin kind of accordions up to the rear of him there, but Edmondson looking so smooth right now. Drapkin, you can see the intensity. When you're doing 100 miles an hour on there, you got to keep that focus. You got to hit your braking point coming in here. Otherwise, you're into that far wall there. Comes up Edmondson with a great acceleration and off the leap as he comes back, heading to turn number 2. But look at this, Dashalet and Winicki battling back there for 3rd right now. But don't forget, Countryman's right back there. If you guys mess up, he's going to be there to let you know.
That trio of blue trucks has been battling 3 wide this entire main. The competition caution didn't split them up. It's Dashalet ahead of Winicki, ahead of Countryman, who you're on board with right now from P5. Down into turn 4. Does he go for a move? He's been aggressive before. Can't get there. He got loose and cattywampus off of those whoops. A very difficult entry into turn 4, especially if you lose control over the jumps.
Yeah, I think you hit it right there. It's a battle of the primary colors. The 2 red trucks and the 3 red trucks chasing them down.
No secondary colors within this top 5 confirmed.
Yes, that's right. Look at the focus from Countryman right now. He's just looking for a little daylight. These guys going to keep looking to that inside. Leave some daylight when Nicky keeps it low and tight there as he tries to keep a run on Dashalet there. You don't want to scrub off speed. You need as much speed going to turn number 3 to get that exit speed heading up that hill.
It'll be 2 laps to go this time by for Josh Edmondson, who leads to the tune of 9/10 of a second right now over Zachary Drapkin. The blue trucks continue to fight for 3rd on back, but everything kind of settling out now as we enter into 2 laps remaining. Drapkin has been quick. He laid down some very, very fast lap times and has been almost matching Josh Edmondson last time by one of his slower lap times and a 3/10 gap between himself and Josh Edmondson. Drapkin slower by those 3/10 that last time by.
And I was just looking at the battle for 6 right there with Briley and Connor Berry as we see another group coming down. And look at this. Oh, contact there with Matag. And it looks like McFarland having a little bit of a bump there too.
White flag will be out this time by as Countryman again aggressive, sends the 23 into the 9, now goes to the inside 3 wide for that 3rd spot. He's able to get Winicki, who falls to P5, and the white flag comes out for Josh Edmondson in the 58 at the front of this field. I don't think a 1.2 second gap is going to be enough for Drapkin again in 1 lap. Countryman now sending it back to the inside. He got caught in the middle between Winicki and between Dashalet. Dashalet at the front of this group now. Countryman back to the inside, trying to get by Winicki. He's side by side again into turn 3. This is all for a spot in the top 5 and all right now for P4. Front of the field, it's Josh Edmondson. A 2nd place finish for Edmondson in main event number 1. Gonna be coupled with this 1st place here in main event number 2. You're looking at your round winner and overall winner tonight from Wild West. Josh Edmondson wins main event number 2, and Channel 199 Sim Racing sweeps the mains from Wild West.
Incredible. Drapkin's going to come across in 2nd with Dashalet, Winicki, and Countryman rounding out there. So 189 sitting 4th and 1st. Boy, that's going to change the team points up there.
The struggles from Grid 1 tonight might have just lost them that team championship lead to Channel 199 Sim Racing, who put in one of their best nights here tonight. It's Edmondson who grabs the win in main event number 2 and your overall championship tonight. Zachary Drapkin, Nicholas Dachalet rounding out your podium. It's when Necki, who won main event number 1, still gets the top 5 there in main event number 2. Thad Countryman rounds out your top 5 with Trenton Briley. Connor Berry driving up into P7. What a night for that red plate number 1. We'll have to see if he keeps that red plate after tonight. Quentin Delalmo, Sean Winkler, and Rick Huseman rounding out your top 10. Further down from there, in P11 was Evan McFarland, Drake Matag, another Grid 1 driver, finishing P12 with Luke Canup, Matthew Lindy, and Adam McAfee. Rounding out your top 15, Cody Vanderveer, Ethan Curran, David Holdren, Hadley Boyce, Brandon Forcade. Rounding out your top 20 in a little bit of a calmer main event number 2. Didn't have as many drivers finishing from the pits or finishing off of the lead lap, but Josh Edmondson walks away with the win in main event number 2, Dave, and the round win with the most overall points tonight. You're standing by with Channel 199 Sim Racing's number 58.
Josh Edmondson, what an incredible race. I'll tell you, I know you struggle. You sat back, relaxed a little bit for race number 1, race number 2. You had the, up front, the second row, and you got to front and you didn't look back.
Yeah, definitely knew if I could get up front that I had the pace to win. So as soon as I saw that little opening there, I had to make the move on Trenton. Had to get the elbows out a little bit, but I'm happy I did make the move. Was able to get out front and get the win. Feels good.
And, Cody and Nikki, your teammate back there, was battling, but talk about Drapkin for a while. He was right on your bumper until you got that breathing room. Were you worried about the drivers behind? Because you got Dachalet with Nikki, Countryman, Briley, and then Connor Berry all the way up to 7th. I mean, there was a lot. Anybody makes a mistake, it could have changed the whole podium.
Oh, absolutely. It's a stacked field. All these guys are really fast. The racing's tough here. I did make a little mistake, and Zach got right back on me, really put the pressure on. But I knew if I just hit my lines, it's really hard to pass here. So I just tried to focus forward and hit my marks. And the track really changed. It evolved because that session, it didn't carry over, being a new session. It went kind of from like fresh to then the worn. So I had to adjust my lines a little bit. But once we got those lines adjusted, it felt really good. And I'm, really happy with it.
Well, you got to feel back. Absent on round number 2, come back swinging. The big winner out of round number 3. Congratulations, Josh.
Yeah. Thanks again. Also, shout out Channel 199 Sim Racing. That's awesome. And obviously, we represent Channel 199 YouTube channel there. It's Travis Pastrana's. And then everybody that sponsors the team, Track Racer, Racecraft, Pimax VR. And anybody else I forgot, all the teammates, you guys for putting on the show. Looking forward to watching this one back.
Oh, you aren't going to be disappointed. It was a good race. Congratulations, Josh Edmondson, the big winner here for round number 3.
Thanks, Dave.
You got it.
A great night for Channel 199 Sim Racing as they grab both of our main event wins tonight. We get to talk again to Zachary Drapkin as well in the number 56. He's happy again to be on the podium, Zach. And Racecraft Academy built you a fantastic truck, and you're able to drive it to the podium in both mains. This has to feel good, especially being P4 in the points and struggles from McFarland and Barry ahead of you.
Dude, I'll definitely say that whole race, my truck was hooked up. Towards the last couple laps, I had a little issues, but I switched over to my sequential off the steering wheel because I couldn't crank the wheel hard enough and find the shifter. So I switched over to my sequential, and I figured that worked a little bit. I was catching Josh, but he's kind of my boss, so I can't pass the boss. So I had to give him that one. But Josh ran a heck of a race, and the whole team did great. I think it was a 1, 2, and 3 through the Channel 199 and Racecraft Academy group. So I'm just stoked on where we finished tonight. We're back on the podium. It's been a long time, but I always knew that if it's going to be a podium, I'm going to do it here.
Not just podium in main 1, not just podium in main 2, but podium in the overall standings as well. You finished tied for 2nd with Cody Wienecki. A fantastic job all night long from you, Zach. Looking forward, we go to the asphalt next on the streets of Long Beach. Then we've got the brand new Wheatland. Then we've got Crandon. This back half of the calendar is very unique. What can you do to stay within that top 5 of the series standings?
I'm going to have to put some time in. Long Beach, I struggled a little bit last year. I think we got like 9th. and the double heats are definitely going to be a struggle for me. So I know we got a good setup for Wheatland in the playoffs last year. I ran pretty damn good. Me and Connor had it pretty well locked in for the whatever last couple races, but I know that we got to be smart the rest of the second half of the season because there's not a lot of races left, and I think this puts us in a good spot for the championship. Just top 3. That's all I need. It's been a long time since we've been on the championship hunt, and right now this has been a good start to the season.
Saying you struggled a bit on the streets of Long Beach last year and you finished P9. I think a little bit of practice time and you're going to be right up there in that top 5. Zach, congratulations on both of your fantastic finishes here in the mains tonight and both of your double podiums.
Thanks, guys. I want to thank a bunch of sponsors as well that keep me up here and keep my truck looking good. Redline Oil, Signature Propellers, Competitive Edge Performance, Weddle Industries, Racecraft Academy, Sean, Cody, and Austin, Sign Pros, McMillan Racing, Skydive Elsinore, IBOC, and CBR keep my truck looking good. This is for my dad. Happy birthday, Dad. The 56 brought it home. He's 56, and 56 truck got a P2. So I'm stoked for the night, and we look forward to the streets of Long Beach, baby.
Very lucky night for that Racecraft Academy number 56. Zach Drapkin ends up in P2, and Nicholas Dachelet had to fight for that 3rd place with Winnecke and Countryman. Dave, you're standing by with the Factory SimSport entry.
Nicholas, I mean, okay, we know Edmondson and Drapkin. You guys had great races in round 1, but this race between you, Winnecke, and Countryman, talk about this because it was a sea of blue. We were talking the primary calories are battling out there.
Yeah, that was definitely a fight from the drop of the green flag. I mean, I think from how my round 1 went at Wild Horse or Firebird, it set the tone, so I knew I had to be aggressive, and man, we were going at it. I hope it put on a good show for the broadcast, but it was fun. I think we raced respectfully. We didn't take each other out. I think we all finished within 3 spots of each other, so it was just good, clean, hard racing.
Yeah, I mean, you had a battle because you had Winnecke was out in front of you. You get up by him, and then you had Countryman. He's looking to the inside. You literally, I mean, like you said, it wasn't too bad, but you did lean on each other, and everybody kept moving that forward momentum. Nobody got out of shape, so that had to have been a little hairy. I mean, I could tell by the smile on your face you were having a good time.
Oh yeah, it was a good time. I was race admin again tonight, so I was doing double duty. But yeah, those last 2 laps were great battle there. Me and Thad actually touched before entering 4 there, and that's how I got so sideways into Cody there, and it kind of worked out for me. I didn't mean to push him out that wide, but that's just kind of how it worked, and then we were able to battle it back to the line. But yeah, it was just a great battle. First race tonight is another hard battle up there. There was a bunch of us battling, so I hope it put on a good show for everyone to watch.
Well, now you've raced in the dirt, the streaks of Long Beach in a couple of weeks. Boy, you have to go back to the drawing board on this one, or are you going to have a little momentum coming out of this week?
I think I had the pace to probably qualify top 4. I ended up 0xing my qualifying lap, so started 5th. And so, yeah, going to Long Beach, road course racing isn't my strong suit, and I think last year I pulled off a top 10, so hopefully we can get a similar, just survive Long Beach and move on to Wheatland after that, and then ending the season at Crandon. I know I'm good there. I know I can run fast laps, sit on the pole, and get a good land rush, so hopefully we can finish these last 3 rounds out strong.
Well, you're definitely coming out here and getting on the podium. I'll tell you, it's going to be great. We're halfway through the season. Got to say good luck to you, Nicholas Dachelet, and I know you got some people to thank that put you on the box tonight.
Yeah, I just want to thank Factory SimSport, Tyson Keaton, Tom Plum, Terry and Crystal, just everyone over there that helped me. Tom was in it tonight. I just want to thank HW Design. Shout out to Hannah again. Truck looks awesome. Legion Speed Sport, Connor for putting on this league, and you guys for broadcasting it. It's been fun.
Well, congratulations, everybody. Nicholas Dachelet.
That is your podium finishers from main event number 2, and finishing 2nd place on the overall standings tonight, and also grabbing that main event number 1 win. We're going to talk to Cody Winnecke before we hop out of here. And Cody, I know you were battling with Dachelet, with Countryman for the majority of that main. You weren't able to get it on the podium, but P4 after some aggressive racing for 18 laps seems like a win in my book. How about yours?
Yeah, definitely. Little pinball action, definitely a lot more aggression in the second race. And yeah, I was just glad to get through that fight. It was crazy.
You're able to walk away with second place in the overall standings as well with your finish here. And Edmondson able to grab the win for Channel 199 Sim Racing in the main. What does it mean as a team to have the success that you guys saw tonight, especially with that team championship looming and Grid 1 not necessarily putting in their best two mains tonight either?
Yeah, the teamwork's great. It's definitely a boost of confidence for sure. And we're going to work harder towards the end of the season, and hopefully we see more of these Channel 199 trucks up front.
Fourth place in main event number 2, second place in the overall. Cody, congratulations on your success tonight and a main event number 1 win. It was a good night for you in that 9 truck.
Yeah, it was just a blast to be up there with those guys. I want to thank Channel 199, Track Racer, Racecraft, Polaris Racing, MRT Tires, Top Box Racing, Winnicky Motorsports, my wife. Thank you guys for a great league, and I can't wait to go back and watch that replay after all that ruckus.
That's Cody Winnecki after a second place overall finish in tonight's overall standings. And Dave, we leave Wild West, we go to the streets of Long Beach, and it seems like if my math is correct, Thad Countryman has taken the points lead and will have the red plate as we trade the dirt for the asphalt around the streets of Southern California.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. Long Beach, literally about 15 minutes from my house. I was just down there, and I was thinking, boy, oh boy, how fun it would be to race here again. Oh, we are in 2 weeks.
It might not have the jumps you're familiar with if you've seen Stadium Super Truck racing in the real world, but these Pro 4 trucks are still going to get up and go when they're racing around the streets of Long Beach. And we'll hope you'll join us on April 1st, same time, same place, right here on RaceSpotTV. For Hugo Louise bringing us to you tonight, for Dave Arnold joining myself, Joshua Lee, we thank you for tuning in to tonight's iRacing Short Course Pro 4 National Series, round number 3 from the virtual Wild West Motorsports Park, where Cody Winnecki and Josh Edmondson are main event winners, and Channel 199 Sim Racing puts in a stellar performance. Edmondson leaves as our overall champion, and we've got a new red plate heading to Long Beach. There's a lot to be excited about in iRacing Short Course. We hope you'll join us next time out.
It's the three-time king starting off on top. It's win 17 for Connor Barry. First-time winner in the iRacing Short Course National Series, Take a Bow, Drake Mittag. And while Luke Canuck's yet to taste success in 2025, it's going to be a taste that's oh so sweet. Swain's not going to stand down. To the line, a photo finish. Her first win in the National Series. Crystal King gets it done. It's taken a while for Josh Edmondson to crack the victory circle. Winning the war, Drake Mittag, the 2025 iRacing Short Course World Finals champion.